Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. My name is Frank Perrine. This is,
Cody Decker.
and today we're going to be going over
Dungeon Crawler Carl.
It's an intergalactic aliens have transformed the Earth into a death match, and the winner will again gain rulership to the Earth.
Yes, and this is by Matt Dinniman, narrated by Jeff Hayes. I am a very big fan of the narrator.
Yes.
And it's by Sound Booth Studio, which is another audiobook company that they also will occasionally be on Audible, but they have their own site. They're like a midway point between normal audiobooks and graphic audio.
Gotcha.
Where they add like sound effects and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it's entertaining.
Yeah, this has one of my favorite openings to a story.
Per se.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Because the whole thing that's like, oh, the first chapter should get your attention.
Yeah.
And I was hooked at the first chapter of it's just a guy. I noticed a lot of books will start with the character dealing with a breakup, which I'm under the impression is that's what the author was dealing with. And then he was like, I'll work this into the book.
Yeah.
Because a lot of fantasy books that was like, oh, this is the first book they did, is them dealing with that. But he's dealing with a breakup, and this is one of my favorite protagonists, actually.
Yeah, it's for me, it reminds me of a lot of different things, from Doom video game to all sorts of things. I really enjoyed it. I like him too.
Yeah, it's also a literary RPG.
Yes, yeah.
Which
and if you've never played or understand it, this is a book that will help you understand if you wanted to ever play a game.
Yeah, because in-universe RPG rules exist. Which I've tried a couple of lit RPGs, and I'm like, this would probably be less annoying if I was able to skim past item descriptions. In this one, it's not that big of a deal, but there's other ones I've been like, well, I can just tune out for the next 2 minutes because they're going to be describing stats.
Yes.
In this one, he uses it to add jokes and stuff too, because it's happening in universe with like this like reality TV show type thing. If you could imagine like Hunger Games, if that helps with like.
And we kind of digress, move a little bit forward. I mean, because going back, intergalactical alien, and it's multiple races. It's not just one. Decide that they'll go into planets and they'll just take all the minerals, do all the things like that, and destroy the planet. And what they do is, obviously, our planet has been on the docket for a while. We just didn't know. Similar to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in a way. And so they destroy the Earth, but they compress it into a multi-dimensional, layered death match.
Yeah, and anything with a roof just collapses.
Right.
So the main character, he was like, his cat got out. Yeah. Which is his ex-girlfriend's cat that he's taking care of while she's on vacation with her new guy. And he's like in his boxers, and there's like a snowstorm, and he like just goes out to get her. His neighbor's like, what are you doing? And then just every building in the world collapses.
And there's a door that opens up that either you're going to get smashed or you go through this door.
Yeah, like everyone just hears like anyone on Earth is just people who happen to be outside at the time.
Yes.
And just a bunch of portals open, and everyone hears like a thing in their head that says like, you can either live in this world or you can enter this tournament and try to win. And Carl specifically had no other choice because he is underdressed. So he's like, it's not even that he's like, oh, I'll take that chance. He's just like, if I don't do this, I'm gonna freeze to death.
Yeah.
So he takes his cat with him.
Yeah, and it's really cool because it's like a crazy ride after that. I mean, really just crazy ride. I mean, that part in itself for you to like get your mind around is kind of crazy. But the minute he gets into this world, it's kind of like those old video games where it's like you're in this dungeon. So if you can imagine everything's compressed and there's a roof to everything, and and then the descriptions of what he's being told are always kind of haphazard, and don't really make sense. It's partly for the comedic aspect of it, but it also, I think, is part of it because we don't really know what an alien race would think makes sense to us.
Yeah, because it's, and then all of the like the things he enters, because there's multiple levels and then multiple layers that like, oh, he's on floor 1 that has like a bunch of like things he has to do, and like everyone who entered is like enters in a different area of that level.
Yes, all around the world.
And it's aliens who are like making like references to Earth culture because other aliens are watching it. So each tournament is like, you know, they'll have like, oh yeah, like humans deal with like obesity and stuff.
Yeah.
So then like, oh, this is like a human, and then they'll get like dark with it too, because like, no, that's a person that was like transformed for the sake of like them making this bit of commentary.
Yes.
And like, but it's also like their outside perspective of human behavior.
Yeah, no, it's really good, and it starts off right away where he has to, you know, go to the guild, right? He needs to go to get information, and it kind of starts off right away, which I like. I mean, it was really cool.
Yeah, one of just the strongest opening for a fantasy where it's just like the world's collapsed. You want to enter? Go. He's like, okay, what do I got to do now? Well, now you're gonna have to go here. You get like there's loot boxes in this too.
Yeah, just like a video game, but imagine it. It's all downloaded into your head, so you can actually kind of see these things. It actually made me think of Old Man's War.
Yeah, that's a
book that we have done in the past.
Oh yeah, huh, maybe you could check that out.
So,
there's a part too, isn't it, where like when he like sees a monster, he gets like a little pop up.
Yes, he gets you. It's just like a video game. You see health bars on your enemies. It's just like if you were playing a game. So
and I like that, and you can like upgrade your stats, but they explain that like, you know, that's not like actually happening either. It's like that, like we'll enter into our algorithm that you have that, but like if you upgrade your intelligence, that just means you can cast magic. That doesn't make you smarter.
Yeah, and some of them have flaws, but I mean, one of the funniest things in the book is the narration of it. Mm-hmm. Accomplishment.
Yeah,
just amazing, and it's like it's so funny.
I like to when because some of because there's the main character and then there's like the AI like commenter on the things.
Yes,
and you can hear that guy like start to get like winded because he's like describing a paragraph and then he'll like, but he has to keep that voice and I'm like, respect him for being able to do it at all.
Well, not only that, what I like about it is that the different accomplishments brings different personalities to the AI. So it's like you had that heavy breather guy. Accomplishment.
Yeah, because the AI is also like, they're like, oh yeah, it's been acting weird lately, and then it'll enter this like mode where, because like Carl entered barefoot, and the AI is like yes. And like it'll like he gets like a toe ring and it's like new achievement. Yeah. Because like you get like achievements for everything, and he like kicked something.
He's
like,
stomping all these bugs and things like that on the first level. So the AI just kind of dug it. So, and he's in his chonies, he's in his boxers.
Yeah, like hearts all over him.
And what's going on is that people all around the galaxy are watching this show. So like, you know, like the movie with the Mockingbird lady,
Hunger Games.
People could sponsor you and all these different things. So people like the fact that he's in his boxers. So he like can't even get pants, and he wants to get pants. And there's a point where it's like, no, dude.
Yeah, he gets
viewers if you get pants.
Yeah, and it's like the AI rewards him for not wearing shoes. It's like the AI like, here's a toe ring, but if you ever put any footwear on, you lose this huge buff. You're like, I don't like this.
Yeah, and it's a big bonus, and it's so funny. I mean, you will laugh. I mean, I laughed all the time.
This was one of the funniest books.
And I thought it was going to get old, but no. You know, achievement.
Yeah, because it's
so great.
They're very creative, the jokes.
Reward, nothing.
Yeah.
It was so
sometimes
good.
the AI will just say, like, you're just a jerk, and why'd you do that? Because the main character also gets like, and especially like they start depicting him in a way because it's like there's the story and then like this is all being filmed.
Yeah.
So like when he like blows something up, they'll depict it as him being much more like energetic about it than he actually was.
Yeah. And it'd be like achievement. You blew up young kids. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Loser. Reward. Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh,
just
so good.
You're a monster.
Yeah.
And then his cat, who is Princess Donut, the Queen and Chunk, I believe is her like full title.
Yes.
I really thought I was going to get tired of that character.
I did too.
And they did a very interesting thing with it that I thought was like I was like, oh, like and that's what this series does. I found is like it is jokey, and every time I think there's something, it'll be like, no, here's like some emotion, and like this is an actual like tragedy. What's happening here? And because
and just to let you know, the cat that he brings with him, now that they're in this world, she's considered a
crawler,
another species, a crawler, which they call the players. So they give her this thing. Now she could talk. She has her own hit points. She has her own spells. So she becomes this own character. Then you find out a lot of things about how she just thinks as a cat, which is funnier than. It is so good.
And I thought it was like that. That's like I pitch people this book just off the opening and how they handled the cat. Princess Donut.
Oh, dude, it was
because
so
like
good.
it was a show cat that like her owner like is like, I'm getting a new one. You like do whatever you want with this. And so like, you know, she acts very like, I deserve to be a leader and all, and she acts very bratty.
Yeah.
And then like at one point Carl just goes like, I'm not dealing with this. You can't talk to me that way, and I'm not gonna like help you if you're gonna keep like treating me like this. And she goes like, I'm sorry. Like she apologizes and is like, this is how I was raised. Like I grew up in this environment. Like I'm like I am a cat. Like I'm sorry, I don't know how to properly talk to you. I was like, all right, I'm for this friendship, and I'm for this cat now.
But I love when they did. They'll have interviews that will show the galactic people, just like Hunger Games, who these people are. And the cat, because she's done all these shows, she's the media person. Mm-hmm. That was so funny. And she's like, Carl, we can't do it like that.
Yeah,
so good.
You got the. It's like a little thing in that voice. It's like it's not quite British. It's like I can't capture, but you got it there.
It captures the cat.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I mean, it's weird because. This is a situation when you're dealing with audiobooks, in my opinion, and regular books. How would that portray if you were reading it?
The cat?
Yeah, if you were reading all the dialogue, it's like, of course, they put that into it as the performance of the actors. Would it read different?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I don't even know if this has a physical book.
Oh, that's okay.
But like that is a thing where it's like, all the audio stuff goes like it makes my enjoyment much more higher than maybe it would have been.
And if anyone else has done that and read the book and then listened to the book and it makes a totally different, let us know, because that listening to this book, I was like, how? Because most of the time when you're reading it, you're reading exactly what they're saying, the actors, but there's no way I'm gonna pull off that.
Yeah, that's like because like reading books, I'm like, okay, like I can pull like the voice from this character and like in my head I can do all that. But like I don't know if I like do. That's why I prefer audiobooks, and then I especially prefer graphic audio.
Yeah,
because I'm not that good at doing the mental work that books usually require.
And then I wonder if it's even like totally different. Like you're like, I thought of an Alabama accent for that cat.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, where was that cat from?
Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting, but it's really, I'm telling you, it's probably out of all the books that we've done so far, this is probably the funnest. I think even over John Dies in the End.
For enjoyment,
and for strictly just
humor
and enjoyment.
Yeah, this is such a fun book, and they as it goes on, they add more and more sound effects. But there's like beep beep noises, which I was already like, oh, that's so cool that there's just electronic noises at all in an audiobook. Like I'm on the fourth one, And I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna as soon as they're like, I don't know,
really good.
I'm gonna follow this series until it's over.
Yeah, and I would like I said, it's so fun, and even the voices and stuff with Carl. Carl has this deep voice, and and just the way he thinks is funny. He knows that he's not a really smart guy,
Yeah. Can you you were doing the voice of him, like, can you like, I heard you like kind of got it right.
Like
his catchphrase.
His catchphrase, because they're on the show.
His catchphrase.
And they want a cat phrase. So they come up with, every time something goes wrong and the cat does something wrong, he's like, he says "goddamn princess" all the time, but he does it in voice, so they actually clip it, and they're showing him doing it all the time. So he's like, "God damn it, princess!"
Yeah,
it's so good,
and that's what I really
so good.
That's what I like about the interview part. Is it?
Oh, dude, it's
that
so
extra
fun.
narration,
and then the fact that it's all. What I like about it is it takes that, unlike the Hunger Games, where it's actual. You have one race, the human race. This is what it is. You're talking about multiple different races. So they interview with this person that looks a certain way, but it's all like make believe, because that's how she fought as a crawler.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many different things, different races, and then changelings, and it's just so interesting, and it's just fun.
And you get to choose your race.
Yeah, at a certain level. I think it's level 3. You get to choose your race, and then you stay that. So you can be a Minotaur, you could be, Scorpion. All of them have their pros and cons, and the human beings are considered one of the weakest, which is interesting.
Yeah, and then you can pick your class, and they recommend you one based off your personality.
Right.
But then like each class is like tailored to whatever planet they're going after. So like. So for Earth, it's like, oh, you can be like a sports player, you can be a monster truck driver, you can be like.
There is a monster.
They're all tailored to like this, because it's all like 4 aliens watching these planets, be like, oh, I didn't know that about. Do you know on Earth they had this, and because for everyone else in the galaxy, this is just a thing you watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not like millions are dead.
Yeah, the announcer is like, this is, day 4. Remember, kill, kill, kill. And you're like, dude, like I'm saying, it's so funny. And you
and there's patches.
Yes.
They have to have patches to things where it's like there's overpowered spells that we need to fix. We're not allowed to show nudity, so you're not allowed to go to the bathroom in hallways. We have bathroom areas.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's so funny, because in the beginning they're talking about, he's like, yeah, there's a bathroom around every corner. And it's because they want to keep the dungeon clean. Mm-hmm. It's so funny. And then you find out later when they rescue a bunch of, believe it or not, a bunch of elderly people, that there's a guy that just happens to pee all the time. And so they come out with this rule that if you find peeing on the wall, they're going to introduce a level 18,
just super monster that's going to wipe everyone out.
That wipes out everybody in your team. Not just you, but everyone on your team, as a deterrent.
Yeah.
And then later they're like, well, we think we were a little overboard with that.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just, like I said, you don't even really need, I don't think you need to really mentally latch onto this to understand it.
Yeah.
Like some books you really got to, oh, what happened? Ah, man, especially listening to it if you're doing something in the house or working, and then you're like, wait a minute, how come he doesn't have that then? It's not really one of those books. You can listen to it pretty much anywhere, because it's funny. It engages you. Like I said, and it's sometimes dumb humor and sometimes really intelligent humor.
Yeah, and every now and then the protagonist like surprises me with what he does.
Yes.
Because he has an actual like noticeable, distinct personality, and he makes decisions that like I forget he's capable of doing, because I view him as like basically what the TV show depicts him as, because I keep forgetting that's not actually him, because everything he does gets edited. I also like that there's other crawlers, and there's kind of this implication that he's not the main character of the show.
Right.
He's the main character of the book, but in the show there's another crawler called Lucille.
With the 2 Rottweilers.
Yeah, who like everyone's like, oh yeah, that's our favorite.
Yeah.
That's everyone's favorite character.
Yeah, that was really cool. And it, it's cool because you also see him evolve, which I think the writer was pretty. That was pretty cool, how he showed him evolve into the guy that had his girlfriend break up with him. He didn't know what to do. This is a shitty place. To really kind of f the system. I'm going to try to help people.
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
Yeah, his fun catchphrase is, God damn it, donut.
Yeah.
But his actual one is, you will not break me.
That's right.
Yeah, that's like what he actually like tells himself constantly.
Yeah, because it's funny because as you go further into the book and the more levels that they move up through, you find it kind of the AI, and there's a bigger political kind of thing happening where you have the AI itself can sabotage you because it just doesn't really like the fact that
Yeah, if it doesn't like what you're doing.
it could actually, yeah.
And the people who run the show, it's like different. It's like, oh, this company is going to run it for this season. And the AI, no one has control over the AI,
Right.
but they're like, yeah, something's happened to it. It's like been acting funny. And they mentioned that like, oh, those loot boxes, the stuff you get, it's not random. It's based off whatever they think is going to be like the most entertaining. Yeah. That's why they gave the cat donut a thing to make her sentient, because they thought that'd be funny.
Yeah,
and that's it. That's the reason they gave her sentience. Like that'd be a good bit. And if they like someone, they'll get better equipment. Or if you mention you don't like getting something and they think it's funny, you keep getting it. It'll do that more.
And you have different sponsors, and there's one point in the book where he is sponsored by kind of like a peace.
Yeah, like they're like against the show, and then like they like what because he chose the.
And he's like, damn it, what am I gonna get from them?
Yeah, like
so good.
So the AI like kind of like favors him because of the AI has a foot fetish.
Yes.
That's
and it loves when he's smashing stuff and bugs and everything like that. So he decides not to go after and kill this thing. So the AI just throws hundreds of these hamster things. These little hamster things, and they're like, dude, even like Princess Donut's like, you could just have to squish him. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And in the end, he has to do it to please the AI. Mm-hmm. It's so
and great. It'll go like, daddy, like.
Yeah, it's so great.
Yeah, it's like you unlock smush. It's like you smushed 100 hamsters.
Yeah.
Very fun. Also, I found something I like look forward to is like the end of level recaps that he has.
Oh, dude.
Or like in the middle of him dealing with levels, I'm like, I can't, like, I really enjoyed them being like, oh, you leveled up, here's a perk you get, because usually it's like a joke.
Yeah.
And it'll also be like a part of his character. And then like I want to, because he gets perks from his class and he levels up, and I want it because it's incorporated. So like,
and I never got tired of that.
Yeah, I love it.
I thought that I would, but they would do like a weekly recap, and it would constantly, the people that work with their team would constantly be kind of informing them and who's doing what and where, and then eventually the crawlers have rewards on each other, so now you got to watch out for other crawlers. But they would recap it, and I swear it never got old. Dude,
because there's a bunch of other crawlers that you don't get to see outside of those recaps, and then every now and then he'll like bump into someone, and they'll either like have like a weird standoff, or they'll be like, "Oh, that was nice working with you. I have to go now, though." And it is cool. Like during the recap, like, "Oh, here's what that guy did." Like, "Oh yeah, like they kill like that high level boss that like Carl had to like run away from," and this person is like, "Oh yeah, Lucille is killing like a bunch of people," and then like.
And the bosses, the bosses are freaking funny because some of them are like linked in flashback to their experience on Earth. So he fights this big bag lady as the boss, and it's like, and you start at, I won't kind of give it away, but you start at that point noticing that maybe there's something different happening.
Yeah.
But it's just a fun book. It's not one of those books for me that I would be like, oh, I probably won't listen to it again. No, because I already listened to 2, and I'm probably going to listen to 1 again, because some of the characters have been there for millennia. they work for the company, X company, and there's multiple companies that work in it, just like we would have here. You have Doritos, you have Honda, you got all these people, and so it might be Honda's time to run the death match. And so they're pumping all the Honda stuff, and then other people are coming in to contract these people to get more viewers. The more viewers you have, more money you get. And I mean, it's similar to everything that we see now with likes and Instagram and all those different things. And I do highly recommend it. I think if you're ever going to play Dungeons and Dragons, or if you're ever going to play a video game that's based on different attributes, this kind of really explains it.
Yeah.
It talks about charisma, talks about intelligence, talks about all this stuff, and explains why that character maybe isn't the smartest, but he has more strength. And it's pretty cool because then if you play a video game or you play something, I think you'll understand it more.
Yeah. And the cat Donut, she like ups her charisma, which I like how they explain that too. Because it's like the NPCs are like living creatures that are like mind controlled.
Yeah.
And it's like if you have high charisma, anything you say they'll like.
Yeah.
So like she can just say like, "Oh, you idiot, like hand me the thing." And it'll be like, "Oh yeah, it likes you because you have high charisma." Carl has no charisma, so like they can say the exact same thing and they'll ignore him or they'll fight him.
And it's funny because in like in different games it's the same way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, from Fallout to all sorts of different things. You have different games where if you don't have X amount, this guy just won't talk to you. This guy won't give you information.
Yeah, and it is a thing where it's like, yeah, you don't have to like know, like I think one game, I think the Fallouts have it too, where like if you like say things that you think they'll like your odds of succeeding charisma checks will get higher.
Correct.
But a lot of games it is like, no, you just need to have higher charisma.
Yeah.
I like that. I like New Vegas because like if you didn't have the right stats, you would get like a different line. It's not voiced, so it is like in your head, but like I would pick those on purpose because I like playing as a guy who was like, what if you did this? I'm like, no, go away. And I'm like, okay, what do you need me to kill someone?
Yeah. When I played Fallout and New Vegas, I'm one of the guys that won't even complete a mission for like years. I was like going around, being level 20, and then I'll play the level. And so like sometimes I'll play like in Fallout. I just went and tried to take out everybody in Nuketown, and I did except for the sheriff. I don't think you could kill him, but. So I was like this evil thing. So then I went with that. I ended up having a cannibal trait, and I ended up doing around. But then no one would talk to me.
Yeah, I liked in 4 if you play a cannibal. Like I think 4 has the best companions too, because they'll like comment on it. They'll be like, "Oh my god!" Like they'll just be disgusted, and if you do it enough, they'll be like, "I can't work with you."
Yeah, it's amazing. But this game. That game and games like it, you would love this book because you could just totally see it. You could totally see the display in his mind. You could totally see the chest opening, all twirling with stars and everything. They make it all like theatrical like that.
Yeah, so like every time he does a mission, you get like he leveled up, he got a new item, there's a news report, and I look forward to those sometimes more than like even seeing what's going to happen in the plot.
Me too.
It's the way it's done. 4 books in, I have not gotten tired of it.
Yeah, and that's something that right when I heard it, I'm like,
yeah. There's no way this is gonna be enjoyable still.
Yeah, because it's like way overboard. Achievement. You've just become a killer of children. I mean, or something like that.
Yeah, and he'll get a perk based off that. They'll be like, oh, you do 3% more damage to children.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like when they go into the alien thing, because they mention like there's like 12 levels or something like that. No one's won, but like you can like leave if you get to a certain level of success.
Yeah, if you get to a certain level of success, people will hire you. So corporations might hire you to work the games. So you'll become this person that just works the games on a contract. Yeah,
which is 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And then after that, you can go to any planet you want except for your home planet or something like that. Very old man's warish.
Yes.
Which which is cool because there's like, all this technology, like making you immortal is like kind of like just a standard thing we can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's not our sales pitch to you.
Yeah. Thank you for destroying my planet, but hey.
Yeah, and his every like team like different teams get like a manager.
Yes.
And he has like, or guild leaders. He has like one of the best ones who's like, oh, this is my last mission before retirement, pretty much. And then you see that
he
like
is good.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you're like, who is this guy? Because they can change their appearance too. So
yeah, so each level he's a different different animal, different like alien, different voice. Which like if it was gonna be a movie, it's like that's gonna be like a fun bit for whoever gets to play him because like well now you're gonna be a frog.
And when they're in the guild, that's a safe zone, just like in a game. You have safe rooms so that you can go where you can't, nothing can happen to you in there. But it's funny, you can't have anything around, just like a game. So you can't go in the safe room if there's enemies around.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, in the very first part of the book, that was hilarious. Hilarious. Just, it was so funny.
And there's other people who like, oh, their manager lied to them about the rules because they thought that would be entertaining. So some people are told, oh, you have to kill the other crawlers.
Yes.
Like that's part of it is you
That's right.
And then so like he gets into this like there's this one group who like they specifically hunt down other people and then you know they're like when they came in the other people they came in with too they were fighting or like they fought them so they thought that was the rule like they go into like so many things can happen to cause confusion that like and they're like oh, that's what they think the rest of this tournament now
and it's funny because they rule out and I don't know if this is the writer on purpose but they rule out some of the things that are just hilarious like there's a military team with guns and everything and you think oh man they're gonna just tear it up because there's magic and all that stuff but you don't see that many guns and you know it's when they run out of guns when they run out of ammunition it's pretty good
and a lot of it too so it's like well yeah the AI was probably like, that's not going to be as entertaining so like because like some opponent one will get like oh here's a gun and you get like unlimited ammo with it you know they get like straight up just like it's not real ammo so like when you hit this icon it'll like load up so like that's how you get the video game aspect of that but it's like yeah if you don't and that's why Carl survives at all because they think he's entertaining right because the people are just like I'm gonna approach this methodically and like sanely they're like boring
yeah and he doesn't have any weapons so he's just punching stuff and stepping on stuff so he keeps on getting upgrades for those things he gets a gauntlet where it increases his punch power he gets you know these special chonies that basically you know give him you know increase strength and increase this but if he takes them off he won't have them so now he's stuck the viewers want to see him in his underwear it's so funny
and the plot it has a very good setup for a lot of things being like I'm looking forward to seeing like how this is handled next because like they're meant towards like oh yeah he'll change races like every new level and then Princess Donut like got a thing to like she changes her class every level so like it's always like there's I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next
and what's cool is that Princess Donut is she's pretty powerful and all right but what's cool is she's still a cat scared of water different things like that and I think that's way cool she acts like she's a badass but still relies on Carl
and I like the bit too where she doesn't really know that Carl is broken up with her owner.
Yes.
Where she's just like, yeah, whenever she comes back, and Carl's like, I'm pretty sure she's dead because she was probably at that hotel with that guy. And then she'll say something like, oh, were you there? Oh no, that was that other guy she brings around sometimes.
He's like, what? Why'd you tell me there was someone coming around? It's so good. And then even the cat, the other cat that she likes, that she constantly talks about. I forgot the cat's name.
It was Ricardo?
Yeah, she keeps on talking about being in love with this cat, and they're on an interview, and she mentions the cat, and someone asks, "Oh, who is this?" The interviewer, and Carl just starts busting up because he's like, "That was the alley cat." She was making him seem like he was like this.
Yeah, because she didn't even say like he was like, "Oh, was that like some guy that like also came in?" She's like, "I love you, Ricardo." And then he's like, no, there's some cat, like, he got, like, all the other cats pregnant. And...
He's like, on all of them, I've called the animal control multiple times. It's stuff like that I think is just so entertaining. That book is so good.
Yeah, and that's like a thing. It's like, I like the bit, and then also there's the reality of, like, she was a cat that just got intelligent, so she doesn't. It is, like, that's just what cats do, so, like, she, like, romanticized it in her head.
Yeah. It's like, you know, the reward for her reward. Reward. Cat Scratcher Island. You know,
Yeah.
she'll get like these like things like that, and she loves it. She doesn't sit there, what? Why didn't I get this? No, that's what's so funny.
Yeah, she's like more into social media and stuff, and
Yeah.
like one of the recurring bits, which I am amazed I didn't get tired of this, that like she types in all caps.
Oh my gosh.
I'm amazed because like so they have you get like a little HUD where you can like do group chats and stuff in this world, and she types in all caps, so the narrator like screams everything
Yeah.
she says, and I am amazed.
And they even tell
I'm not
her,
tired of it.
They even tell her, they go, hey, when you put in caps, you're yelling, and they still do it.
Yeah.
So like everything is yelling with us. Great. And that's something that I thought I would get tired of too. I didn't. It was really good.
I have no issues with this book.
Me neither. Me neither. I think it's entertaining. I think it's got a lot of other things. I mean, it's not, War and Peace. It's not a book like anything like that. It's just a really good, I think, intelligently planned out kind of comedy thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a fun book. Not a book for you to read and tear apart and all that stuff, because if you do, that's ridiculous. I mean, just its premise alone is kind of different, and they explain a lot of things that you might forget. You'll have different layers that have skies and different things like that, but it's also like an interdimensional thing. Like at the end of a certain amount of hours, 8 hours, 6 hours, 3 hours, that level will collapse. So if you're in that level, you'll die. So you have to make it. The whole goal is to make it to the stairway to get down to the next level within a certain time period, which is cool because it always puts this, just like a game.
Mm-hmm.
It puts this pressure on him, which then starts interfering with their own personal decisions that they want to do, which I think is pretty neat.
And I like that like people like would get there early and just wait for like 6 days. So they're like, oh, patch update, you're not allowed to do that now.
Yeah.
You have to find something to do, even if you found the next floor.
Because that's the whole thing. It's kind of like Left 4 Dead. If you just stand there, next thing you know, the AI is going to send 100 zombies your way. It's the same thing. So if they catch you not being entertaining, then the AI will take over and you'll die, because they'll throw who knows what at you. So they start to latch onto that idea, especially the cat, Donut. So she latches onto it right away. He doesn't like it so much. Carl doesn't like to be, man, really?
Mm-hmm.
I got to smash that guy's head, really?
Yeah.
And Donut's like, we have to smash it.
Yeah. Dude, that was exactly the voice. You got that exactly right.
Yeah, so it's really, I love that interchange. And then when they start bringing the other people in, their handler, they have a press agent. I really like those people.
They go on a talk show that's like the Jerry Seinfeld of that world, or not Jerry Seinfeld, Jerry Springer of that, where it's like this like trashy show that they bring in like crawlers for to like get like made fun of and stuff.
Yeah.
And they turn the tables on it, and like that has like consequences too and stuff.
Yeah, but they have the first show they go to is they really like them both. So they're trying to help them. So, and there's points where the galactic people are always listening, and in some aspects they can't listen to. And so I thought that was great.
Yeah, whereas like they can't see anything you're typing in your mental chat thing, which I liked. I forgot that they go into that in the first book, and because after that it's like they use the HUD, but it's like, oh, you like mentally you can like move the cursor, and like for everyone the interface is designed to be like for you. It like just makes sense. It's intuitive.
Yeah. So I mean, if I was gonna tell anybody, I can't. I know I always sound like this, but this is like the first book that I really didn't have to. Not the first, but it was a book that I really didn't have to go back and give it a second chance. Go back and give it a third chance. I mean, I really liked it immensely from beginning to the end, and I didn't have to go, oh, I didn't like the way they did that. Let me listen to that again. No, it was just amazing to me. And like I said, it's kind of slapstick. it's you could see in listening to this book. There's multiple takes from different things. I mean, it's definitely Dungeons and Dragons. It's definitely video game playing. It's definitely Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's definitely like Mighty Python kind of humor in some aspects. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can see the author pulled, but it doesn't. It's not if you get over that mentally, get over it right away because it'll mess you up. Just enjoy it.
But yeah, this is if this was if this got a show or a cartoon adaptation or anything, I'm like, this would be something I just watch on a loop constantly.
Oh, it would be so.
But like for an audiobook, this is something where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go for a long drive. I haven't found anything in a while. Yeah, I'll re-listen to Dungeon Crawler.
Oh, I definitely will.
Yeah, it's just a fun TV show in a book. I mean, and that's what the story is.
And what's so funny about it, or not, one of the things that's so enjoyable about it, is that he taps into all the same things that we know: sponsorships, the likes, the this, and that's part of the fun because when you're listening to it, you're like, "Oh my gosh, I can so see that." And these are people dying. Mm-hmm. These are people that are put into this thing to make sure they kill people. If you don't kill enough people, and you don't do it in a flashy way, then you won't get sponsorships, and more likely you'll die.
Mm-hmm. And I really like too where each level will open with telling you how many people are in there.
Yes.
And at first it's in like the millions.
Oh yeah.
And then like it'll be like it drops down like, and then like, you know, and then when it gets serious, you know, Carl will be like, "You mean like 10,000 people died in like 3 minutes?"
Yeah.
And it like he'll like, and as it goes on more and more, you know, that number keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. You know, like the humor I don't think ever goes away, but the story does start getting more and more serious.
Yeah, because there's so many underlying things that are almost conspirial. You know, where people think about that stuff today. Oh, this corporation is doing that, or that corporation is doing that. And so it does get into that serious aspect of it, but still maintains like just the fun and different things like that. But it does have a kind of an underlying kind of other story going on. Like their handler tells them things that maybe they shouldn't be told, but he does it through their HUD so that no one else can hear him. So he's the one that mentions to him, you know, that every boss has a weakness. Now you play video games, you know that, but it's kind of interesting that he could get in trouble for telling him that.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, where it's like the protagonist really lucked out in a lot of scenarios.
Yes.
So it's like, you know, I'll see stories like, oh yeah, they had like military training, or like, it turns out they just had a knack for this, but it was like he got really lucky, and you see the people that went in like with even more training and stuff, and it's, this guy wasn't in the military. I think he was in like the reserves or something.
Yeah. And
you'll see people like, yeah, they didn't get a good mentor. The AI doesn't like them as much. Oh, they didn't get sponsors. So like that's the thing too, is like Donut like actually helps out significantly.
Yes.
Because like you were mentioning, she will be like, you need to do this because that's going to be more entertaining, and people are going to need to, if we do that, we'll get more sponsors. So it's like if he was on his own, he probably would have died like just like anyone else. Yeah,
and she's obsessed with losing viewers. I mean, it's just how can I say it? It's just so. And when was the book written? Let's see.
Well, we'll look that. I'll be looking that up right now.
Because I'm thinking it's so funny how he links that aspect of what we deal with the likes and the dislikes and how many people like you and the sponsorships and, you know, all those different things. And I just really enjoyed it. I just don't know when it was written because it had to be written recent.
Yeah, because some you can like write an audiobook and submit it, and it's much faster to
really
get those published than because an audiobook, if you have the file, now it's just about submitting it to places. And there's, you know, it's not just Audible. There's Sound Booth Studio, there's Graphica. There's so many places where you could submit a script or something. And there's one narrator I know specifically, he's a YouTuber, Zero Punctuation, Yahtzee Crush or something like that. He got the audiobook done. He did it himself. And then like years later, he was like, "Oh, I'm getting it published now, like physically."
Wow.
So that's one of the things I like is it's
So we
like
should do our own audiobook.
it's just like like you can. These are like books are a thing where it's like you can do those on your own.
Oh, it's so like an audiobook.
All right, I've almost found out when it's done. We're about to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Too. It was done. Wow. Yeah. Did you have a year you were thinking it was made?
I don't know.
2020.
2020.
So this was a very recent series. That's weird.
Achievement.
Yeah, because this is that makes sense because all this stuff.
And it makes sense.
One of the little things I like too is they mention like viewerships and subscribers. It starts off in like the millions, and I like that little touch where they like that's not even doing particularly good. It's a whole galaxy watching this, so millions of likes is like like people know you exist.
And then further in the book, they'll tell you kind of like a prompt on how many people are sponsoring and following them, and then it's like 46, trijillion.
Yeah, they start getting high,
and then it starts you going, man, this is like a pretty big deal, and they're not even on the top 10.
Yeah, because it's like they start off as like very side characters in the show. And Lucille is like the main one, and there's a guy who became like a crocodile man.
Yeah.
And what I do like the setup too is like here's the top 10, and you'll meet those characters as the series goes on.
Yeah, and it's cool. I mean, they're kind of the underdogs, and a lot of people like them because of the cat. Mm-hmm. And they have a option to change their physical attributes, I think, in level 3. So they both decide to stay the same. And
they're told like people like this.
Yeah, people like the
what
cat.
you have going on. Like if she changes her race, you're gonna lose out on all these views.
Oh, you know what character I loved is the chicken.
Which chicken?
Like the dog beast that they got.
Oh, the dinosaur.
Yeah, the dinosaur.
Because the cat gets a pet sidekick. Yeah,
it gets a reward and gets this cat. And gets this like
egg.
This egg, yeah, and it's this little dinosaur, and they don't think they're going to be able to train it, but they end up training it, and this thing is a beast. By level 3, it's huge.
And they'll just mention every now and then that like it scratches and cuts up Donut like constantly because it's she treats it like she was treated.
Yeah.
So like she's not. It's like this is a dinosaur.
So good, and I actually felt like no. I mean, I felt this person like, don't send him out there, because I really liked the character because it's like a puppy, and this thing is huge with teeth and everything like that, and it does puppy things, and they let it out, because they have the ability to, like he has this endless pouch, so he can just like a game, so he can put things into this pouch, so they have a carrying case for this animal that they could put in, and so when he's out, he starts jumping around like a puppy. It's just so good. The character's so good.
There's a character I like, and especially like where their character goes. But one of the people that goes in was just this like old lady who was like herding a bunch of sheep at the time, and all of her sheep come in with her, and like one of the sheep is like turned into like a sheep man, and the that sheep has like laser vision and stuff, and so it's just like she's just like controlling all these sheep. And you constantly just meet characters like, that person turned into a crocodile man with a double barrel shotgun.
Yeah.
And that person turned into this person turned into a lava man.
And he had to be a heavy game player. Had to be. In just the aspects and the way he thinks. Like they're in this level where there's these pupa things crawling around. And they don't hurt anybody or anything like that. And they're super easy to kill. So they start just wiping them out. Just start killing as many as they can, just squishing them, even though they weren't hurting anybody, just to get them out. But later to realize that every time they squish one, they hyperbreed. And then once they turn and turn into a pupa, and what comes after is like crazy. That it was so good. So every time now when I read it and he talks about something, I'm like, okay, what is it going to do?
Yeah, because everything like there's a reason for it.
Yeah, it's pretty thought out.
Yeah,
and that's why I think he had to play games, Dungeons and Dragons, something, I don't know. But so what do you think?
I think that'll cover it. I mean, I think like that's everything I would like sell someone on the book for.
How many donuts?
I'll give it 5 out of 5 donuts.
I'll give it 5 out of 5 donuts as well. Definitely listen to it. Great. You'll love it. And like I said, look back on some of our references because if you enjoy this book, you'll love Old Man's War. Very, very good. Similar premise, not in the dungeon part, but the whole heads-up display in your mind and things like that. So more on a serious end in that aspect of it. But that book is good too.
Yeah.
All right.
And yeah, so comment anything, by the way, if you can.
Yeah, go on the Discord. We're putting up art, all sorts of different things.
That's in the description. I try to be active on there at least once a day.
Yep.
I'm playing Elden Ring, so you'll be getting updates on that.
How is Elden Rings?
Elden Ring?
Oh, it's not Elder Rings?
No, that's what I call my... what's the thing you sit on if you have hemorrhoids?
Oh, it's a donut.
It's a donut. How about that?
Yes. It's an elder. An Elder Ring.
Elden Ring it's the classic issue with that game, which is like you play it and then you hate it, but then you can't stop playing it. That's like how those games work. Because I'm like, this sucks. Anyway, I played
kind of like marriage.
Ain't that the truth? Jeez. By the way, the description for the Discord link is down below. Also, we're on Patreon. With that link is down below. Also,
yeah, and we're gonna be doing a lot of interesting things with Patreon. So. As you guys know, I'm an artist, so I'm doing all the thumbnails. We're going to be looking at some of the Patreon aspect of it and giving digital art away and things of that nature. So it's going to be really fun. There's going to be a lot of different things going on.
And just a reminder, the way this works is we pick books in a rotation. One book is my pick, one pick is Frank's pick, and one pick is a book that's been recommended to us. So if you have any recommendations... you can comment them on the Discord, which people do. Yeah. If you comment them on YouTube, it helps us out just a little bit more. We got people that do both because they're cool.
And it doesn't matter what. So, we've had some people say, wow, you do a lot of zombie, you do a lot of that. Well, we were doing things in those groups, and that's just the way it kind of ended up. Like, if you go back and look at some of our other ones, we've done some with cats.
Yeah, it's... It's fun to like have like a transitional, and it's like when you're in the mood for something, it's like, okay, we're gonna do a zombie story, now we're gonna do a romance, now we're gonna it's easier if we have like a if you have anything similar to Dungeon Crawler Carl, I'll give you a quick recommendation if you like something like this. I loved the beginning, not so much where it went, but Brightblade. That's another lit RPG. I love the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And the book really cover art is the best I've ever seen.
That was really good.
So you could check that out too. But it looks like that's it.
That's it. Now we're going to be changing a lot of different things for you guys. So we'd love to hear your comments and stuff. We're going to be kind of changing intros and exits and titles and everything like that. So just look forward to the live. It's going to be insane. It's going to be cool. We might even give away some stuff digitally. I love digital art because then you could have it, you could print it, you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, Frank here is a madman with his artistic skill. While I have no artistic skill, I'll be there.
Yeah.
And
you can send recommendations. Cody might mow your lawn, might fix your car.
I can do car work. We'll go to the scrapyard together. Love me the scrapyard.
All right, so thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye.